Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to Food for the Soul. It's Friday, what is it, 8th of July today, 2016, and today's a really special day for me because 16 years ago today, in the year 2000, I gave birth to my first child. And I really feel like sharing the story of my birth today with you guys. And it was quite a unique experience by all accounts, and there's some really major things that happened during my birthing experience that I think when I share them with you, you're going to find it really relevant and really helpful in your own lives. Even if you're a man and you haven't given birth, or you're a woman and you haven't given birth, that this is something that you can be fed by today. This is my food that I've got to give you, some nourishing, good spiritual wisdom today. And also, when I say spiritual, I mean really practical, because for me, spirit is practical. And in my birth story, you're going to see just exactly what I mean by that. And I'm also going to talk to you today about purpose. Again, this is one of my favorite subjects, actually, because actually giving birth was a huge opening for me into my purpose and helping me see my own gifts. So I'd like to start at the beginning. I felt like I needed to give birth away from everybody that I knew around me. I didn't want to give birth around my family or my partner's family. I felt like I needed to do it in my own way without any interference, because for me, it was something really, really precious, a big deal, something I'd been wanting since I was a child, to have a baby. And I wanted to give birth in a way that wasn't the regular story of pain and going into hospital and having interventions and medication and people's fear sort of taking over my experience. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. People have their own stories, their own birth stories, their own way of doing things. But I was hearing a lot of fearful stories when I was pregnant, and this is not my story. This is not how it's going to be for me. And not in an idealistic, oh, I'm not really being realistic kind of sense. It was like, really, no, I don't wish to experience pain giving birth. I don't wish to be in fear. This is not my truth. This is not my reality. And I had such a strong conviction about that I even took myself to Australia, the opposite side of the world from the UK where I live, to go and give birth. And I was really guided to do that a lot by dreams and spirit, and by my own passions, by just all the signs, all the red flags around me saying, look, you've got to get out of here. And I was even having dreams about dolphins actually telling me to come to Australia, big mama dolphin and a little baby dolphin, and they were saying, bring your baby, he's going to be like a baby dolphin, you should bring him to Australia and give birth over there. So I did do that. I brought my partner with me, even though he really wasn't sure about the whole thing, and we were very young, and he was even younger than me. But I was just determined. So I ended up, and that's a big story. I was in Byron Bay, and then I ended up in Brisbane, and we were in a backpackers for 6 weeks, and I'm really, really, really pregnant, and we had no money, and it's this epic adventure, actually. I've written a book about it that I haven't published yet, but this is this epic adventure of this pregnancy. Anyway, we ended up in this little house in the Wooloowin district of Brisbane, and I gave birth at home. Now, I was really fortunate because I'd met a bunch of women at the local, what was it called? Mothers and Midwives Association, something like that. HMA. I can't even remember. Anyway, so I'd met lots of other mothers who had given birth at home, and midwives who were interested in home birth. And so I'd been privileged to be able to listen to their stories for about a month or so, a few weeks before I was due to give birth. And it really gave me validation that this was possible, that I could have this home birth, and I could do it not so assisted, not overly assisted, not completely on my own. I didn't want to choose that, but not overly assisted. And I met an amazing woman called Melinda, and she was newly practicing home birth midwife, and she was like my best friend. She agreed to be my midwife and support me through the home birth, and I would pay her later because I was broke. So she was just a miracle in my life. And another lady called Laura, who really just looked after me. And actually there was a few other of the mothers that were really amazing. So anyway, so I'm in my labour starts, and it's early in the morning and I don't really know what's happening. And so, but it's like, okay, I'm going with it. This is happening. Once I've decided, okay, right, this is happening today, right, I'm going to really embrace it. Like getting up in the morning and embracing the day. I was really embracing that experience and feeling those mild rushes and the sensations in the body. And it was like, okay, let's put some music on. And actually that's when Laura came round, and we literally had nothing. We were living off charity, literally. We were so broke. And Laura came round and she brought me a stereo and she brought me some flowers. And so we put Van Morrison on, who was one of my favourites at the time. And I was just moving and dancing in my labour, really in that flow and in my joy. But I still wasn't sure what I was doing and if I'm kind of doing it right. This is how it's meant to be. I didn't have any other reference for this being normal. And then another woman came round, and actually I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name, but she was a midwife, and she came round just to check on me. And I said to her, am I doing this right? And she was like, you're doing absolutely fine. Just carry on with what you're doing. Now for me to hear that, just to know, oh, I'm going the right way, this is the right, this joy that I'm feeling is the right way to go. She was an amazing validator for me. And that was like giving me the green light. That was like saying, permission, go, continue. So it really gave me that confidence to embody myself and embody my birthing experience. What with one thing and another, I'm going through the labour and it's pretty strong and it's like, wow, full power feelings. And I'm kind of just saying yes to the whole thing, just going, oh my goodness, it's a transcendent experience. Because my body was so full of oxytocin, so full of these happy hormones and happy chemicals, because I'd just chosen to completely surrender. It was like something else is happening, something bigger than me is happening, and let me just let go and enjoy the ride. A bit like when you're on a roller coaster, you've got no choice. Once it starts and you've said yes, you're off. There's nothing you can do, you're in it. So you may as well just let go and go, wah, and enjoy the ride. So for me, it was a bit like that. It was like, wow, breathing. Oh, life. This is life happening full on. Just let go. And at one point, actually, I was on my knees and the little baby inside of me, my little boy, was kind of moving up and down inside me and kind of crowning and then going back in and crowning and going back in. And I got to this point where I realized, hold on a minute, so he's not coming out. Something's not happening here. What is this? Am I not letting go somewhere? And at this point you have to understand, I'm quite blissed out of my mind. It's like, as I'm looking at my brother and my partner and my midwife, everyone's eyes are like they've just taken a tab of acid, They're just like tripping out. They're like blown away by the energy and by what's happening in the space. And I am so high. And so in that moment, I realized that I'm preventing my baby from coming out. So I closed my eyes. I'm on my knees, wrapped my arms around my partner's waist. I closed my eyes, and it's like the room disappears. The sensations of birth disappear. My body sensation, the feeling that I'm in a body disappears. Even my breath awareness, what I'm pretty conscious of most of the time, just disappears. And I'm in this space of absolute white light. And it's like my awareness is in this white light. And there's nothing else. And the white light sort of says to me, even though it's funny, you might think, how does light have a voice? Well, I heard this voice saying, you are not your body. And it was that instant realization, yeah, here I am, pure consciousness, listening to this light. And I have no awareness of my physical body. And yet I am. I have an awareness that is very much me. Although not my ego and not really my personality, but my presence. And that's all I needed. Again, it was another validation, another big confirmation that I was even safer to let go, that I could let go even of my body and be absolutely in light and in bliss, to be honest, really blissed out. So in that moment, it was like, okay, so then I come back and I'm aware of my mind, I'm aware of my breath, I'm aware of my body, I'm aware of the room, I'm aware of the people. The next rush of energy, the next labor rush that comes, that pushes the whole baby out. And in fact, I have to say, I didn't do any pushing for my child. It was like he was pushing himself like a little frog. He had these little frog legs like springing off the top of my uterus and pushing himself out. And I was kind of just letting him get on with it, really going with the flow. But in that, when I came back into the room and into my body, then it was like he could actually come out because something else in me had let go. My body had let go. My fear of my body being damaged, or, oh God, I'm going to split in half. If you've ever given birth, you know what I'm talking about. And just completely let go of that, which I think was my biggest fear going into giving birth. It's like, what's going to happen to my body? I'm not an extreme sports kind of person. I don't throw myself around. I am a little bit body precious. So it's not surprising that came up in my birth. And so this child was born like completely of his own strength and his own volition, and with me an absolute surrender. And how it felt for me and during the labor and during this birthing experience was literally like there was this light, like imagine a funnel, right? If my core energy stream, I'll explain that in another video to you, but core energy stream, this thread of energy running through me, say it's normally like this, like in birthing, it went like this, like a massive funnel. And I'm just like the little cardboard tube around the outside, being this, this container for massive amounts of energy, the spirit of my child, or the spirit of God, the spirit of creation, or creatress, birthing this child through my physical vessel, and the spirit coming out with the body as well. It wasn't just, you don't just give birth to like this little being of a body, you're giving birth to an entire spirit. And the force of the delivery that comes with it, the hand that delivers that spirit, that God creator source energy that delivers, is coming through me as well. So I was having to open wide and having this amazing experience of this oneness with creation and source, and still having an experience of being Tara, but just blown away. So yeah, that was my birth experience. And so what happened from that is an understanding that, oh my God, I mean, you get it, right? There's so many understandings in that. But having had that experience, it made me realize on a very practical level that I was more than just myself, that I could receive more. I mean, what would it be like if my life was like that every day? Could I be a channel? Could I be a receiver, a conductor for that much light and love and pure spirit, God, creator energy to come from spirit into earth and birth onto this planet in my daily life? Could I do that? I feel I started to really recognize myself as that channel, as that vessel, as a conduit for this incredible source creator energy to manifest. And actually, as it manifests through me, it was like, wow, a birthing of myself, a recognition, a validation of me as a human being, like what, as a human being, I'm capable of experiencing and capable of being. So that opened the doors of my possibility wide open. And because I was really searching for, I wanted companions of mothers who were interested in raising their children in a similar way to me, in a really conscious way, in the way of continuum, in the way of trusting life. Because you got to understand, when I'm birthing that baby, I'm sure you can understand, I was really in trust. You have to be in trust to let go that much, right? And it's when the fear comes in and we don't trust, that's when the damage gets done. And this is not just in birthing, guys, but this is like, can you put this in context of life generally? If this is your spirit coming through, being delivered to you as it is every single moment, every single day, being birthed, being delivered into this vessel of yours every day, and it wants to really go through that transcendent experience, which is kind of not up and out. I couldn't give birth when I'm out of my body. I had to be really in my body, really grounded, really, really present to give birth. So, it's not an etheric experience, it's a practical experience of being a channel for spirit. Because spirit wants to descend into a body. That's what this physical matter is for. This is spirit manifested. So for us to be able to recognize this privilege, this opportunity, this gift that we've been given, to experience that and to allow it to be through us, as us, and come out into the world to birth your own soul baby, to birth your own spiritual baby of yourself out into this world. And like, wow, what would be possible? Divine spiritual essence being born into the world. Your unique special you-ness, you really let it through. So this is what really opened up to me. So I started sharing, and I started a group called Natural Mamas. Yay, Natural Mamas, if those of you are listening. We had a really wonderful time sharing the early years upbringing of our children, because we weren't really into schooling, we were into homeschooling and natural education. So I got with a bunch of women and some dads as well that I could really connect with. And I realized, because I'm just following my passion, and that I'm following my passion about communicating and sharing my inspiration, my experience of my birth, to as a gift to other people, to say, look, this is possible. There's not many other people validating this experience. Well, there wasn't so many at that time. There is more now. But it was like, let me just add my story to that flow, to that current of possibility, to make it a bigger, wider river of, that people can tap into and be validated by in their own experience. I really, really was passionate about sharing my inspiration. And that's where it started for me. I realized I was starting to teach people. And I'd never considered myself as a teacher. I always think I'm too impatient. And I never really wanted to go and study anything to do with teaching. I didn't have the patience and the time for that either. So it was kind of like I couldn't see it with my mind that I would be a teacher or that I had anything to inspire others with. But it's something that started to naturally come through as I just followed my passion. And because when you're passionate about something, you can't help but tell the world, just like I am with you right now. Like, I have to tell you this story today. It was just bursting. I was faffing around doing all these other things. It's like, just tell the story. So I tell the story. I'm following my passion. I'm doing what I love. Even if nobody else gets it, it makes me super happy. So that's where it started to lead me. I started to get into teaching and speaking. And it also really opened me up as well. I had further validations of my psychic gifts, which had come into play in my birthing experience, to do with trusting my intuition and trusting other certain things, and being guided. And I really realized I see so much that I hadn't noticed how much I see, because I kind of take it for granted. I didn't realize that was any different to anybody else. Well, I kind of gathered that it wasn't the same as a lot of people, because there was nobody really I could have shared experiences with. So there was nobody really that I could talk to and they would believe me or get it or say, oh yes, me too. So it starts to become my funny little secret, these things that are real to me and everyday to me, I can't share them. So somebody else came into my life soon after my second baby was born, and he was a beautiful home birth too. I might tell that story another time. But so this person again validated me for my gifts, and it was like, oh wow. So just like in that labor, it gave me the green light, gave me permission to start using my gifts. Now again, I had no idea, like giving birth for the first time, I have no idea how I'm going to do it or what's going to happen exactly. I just know that if I just keep following what feels right and good, it's bound to work out. I had that trust. So with my soul reading, it was like just using my gifts, not really knowing what I'm doing, where it's going, what it's going to lead to. Not a clue, I tell you that now. But I was just doing what felt right, and doing a lot of learning and needing a lot of validation along the way and confirmation from people. Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. Yes, you're exactly right. Oh my goodness. And getting those results and feeding me that confirmation and giving me that confidence that, oh my goodness, I also have another thing here which is really valuable that I need to do for me. I don't do soul reading for other people so that they can see who I am. I do soul reading for me because it's part of me. And if I don't do it, I don't feel like me. It's my way of expressing. It's a bit like being an actress, I suppose. It's a part of my personality that I have to put out into the world. I have to express it. Otherwise, it would be like living my life with like no right arm. It would be half of me, or just one a certain aspect of me. There'd be a big thing missing. So when I'm now doing my soul reading and expressing that, it's enabled me. It's opened doors for me. It's allowed me to realize that my experiences, my unique Tara experiences, my unique Tara-ness has a value to other people's lives. Now, almost why I can't get my head around, I mean, I get an idea, but it never really clicks as like, this is it. It's just, again, it comes from this place of passion. It comes from this place of purpose that I just keep doing what feels good to me. And anytime it doesn't feel good, then either I have to go away and do some healing, or I need to recalibrate. And life has an amazing way of keeping me on track, because actually sometimes I've stopped doing soul reading. I found I wasn't making any money out of it, and so it's like I need to do something else in life that gets my needs met, because I wasn't charging enough, or I was giving it away, or I hadn't really understood the value, so I kept dropping it. And then I had this other huge passion to create eco-villages, again, which I'll talk about another time. But it was like, life was just like, no, 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 shut the door, shut the door. And it was like bashing my head against a brick wall for quite a number of years, because I just didn't get it into my thick head that life didn't want me to do that just yet. It was like, so if you find yourself working away at something, like either you're not doing it in a way that's really serving you and giving you joy and fulfillment, or you're actually, it's not quite right for you, you're off track. You're bashing into the crash barriers on the side of the road instead of driving down the highway on the actual road and going forward. So life has done that with me. It's bashed me up a number of times and said, not that direction, not that direction. And I'm quite stubborn sometimes and find it hard to learn. So I've been through a lot of those crash barriers. But life has kept kicking me back and knocking me back. And really, life works when I'm sharing like this, when I'm sharing what makes me feel happy, when I'm sharing what works for me. And if this is a validation for you, you might not know what your purpose is. You might not be able to see the shape, the color, the box that it comes in. It doesn't come like that with a box and a label. It didn't for me anyway. Maybe it does for somebody else, but for my story, I'm hoping it's going to give you a sense of it's more organic than that. It's more natural. It's like right under your nose and you can't see it, but you just keep following your senses. You keep following the smell of, that feels kind of good. That smells kind of good. I'm going to go in that direction. Or it makes your heart feel good. It makes you feel like you. And I know, I was just talking to a friend on the phone just now, and I know how much other people don't see their own light, their own gifts, their own magic. I don't think I really do either. I get a sense of it from other people around me as my mirror, but it's hard to see it for yourself. So I really love sharing that validation for other people. That gives me so much joy because I know how life-changing it is. And for this friend, I was saying to her, you have an amazing energy. If you just made some videos or you just shared about your experience, do you know how valuable that would be for the world? And people don't get an idea of like, oh yeah, really? My story matters? Yes. What you experience matters? Yes. Your little voice in this big ocean of a million bazillion voices? Yes. It does matter. You have a unique experience. You have a unique energy. You have a unique drop of spiritual energy, and it's called your soul. You have a unique collection of experiences unlike any other being in all of existence, not just on this planet alive now as one of 7 billion, but as all of creation that's ever been ever. And this is your moment, this is your opportunity, and what you have is for you to discover first, for you to unwrap your birthday present of you and discover and start to almost, it's like, you know, when you're teasing the tissue paper out of the box of your present and you want to uncover what's hidden underneath. So you have to tease bits out, and that's where you start to give. You start to share. You start to a little bit here and a little bit there and a few words. This is what's happening. Maybe you're writing, maybe you're teaching, maybe you're, whatever your way of inspiring or sharing or motivating is, whatever your particular passion is, you just start doing a little bit at a time, and then you start to uncover this greater abundance, this greater gift, abundant gift that was given to you on your birthday and is still there waiting for you to unwrap it. And you have a lifetime to unwrap it, my love. Don't think that you have to get it all done right now, or you're failing, or you're falling behind, or it's getting too late, or you're getting too old, or you're too, whatever the too is, whatever that excuse is. No, you have an entire lifetime to keep unraveling and unwrapping this gift, and it will go deeper and it will go further, and you have no idea where that's going to take you. So just keep following what feels good. So today is my happy birthday day to me. The day I became a mother, and it changed my life forever. And so greatest gratitude to all of the people that supported me in my birth and have supported me as a mother and have supported my children as they've grown up, and supported my eldest, whose birthday is today. Greatest love to his father for giving me this incredible child. Even though we're not together, there's so much love that's always going to be there. Greatest blessings and gratitude to the spirit that gifted me this child. And big thank you to me too for having this experience and receiving my gifts. Well done, me. Thank you, me. And thank you, you guys, for being there so that I can share with you. If I was alone on this planet, I'd have no one to share with, and that would suck. So the fact that you exist and I exist and you're there and I'm here is so wonderful. I honestly can't tell you how happy. I just love it so much. It makes me so happy. So thank you for listening and watching. I hope I've given you something nourishing today. Given you that validation and permission. I want to give you that green light and say, you go. Whatever you've got going on, go. You go do it. Start it. Begin it. And if anybody wants any help, I'm pretty skilled. I'm skilled at helping people uncover, clean up, and discover what's hidden underneath, what needs and wants to come out in your soul journey, for your soul purpose, for your greatest fulfillment, ongoing greatest fulfillment. Let your fulfillment always be great. And I'm really good at helping other people do that. So look me up. It's taraloveperry.com, and tune in next week. Mondays and Fridays, my Food for the Soul Day. So tune in next week and leave your comments. Share this if you like it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm on the right track. Give me the green light if I'm doing the right thing. I still need that validation. Can we share? All right, I love you. Mwah. Have an amazing day.